Students, today we're going to look at the central nervous system. Okay, this is the system of nerve cells found at the central part of the body. Okay, and this system is housed inside a bony structure as they are divided into the brain and spinal cord as I discussed in the last video. The brain is the upper part of the central nervous system. It is housed inside the cranium. Okay, then the other one, which is the spinal cord, also known as the spinal medulla, is housed inside the bony cartilage known as the vertebral column. Alright, so today let's look at these structures of the central nervous systems. We are going to relate the structures to their functions. Okay, now we have the brain. We have the brain. We have the brain. This will part here. This is the brain, and this is the spinal cord. The brain and the spinal cord. So we are going to look at the components of the brain and their structures. We relate the structures to function. Alright? The brain is broken into three different levels. We have the upper level, we have the middle level, and we have the lower levels of the brain. Alright? This region, this is the upper level of the brain, and the upper level of the brain here is called prosencephalon. The upper level of the brain is called the prosencephalon. Here we have the middle level. This is the middle level of the brain, and this is known as mesencephalon. This is the mesencephalon. Then here we have the lower level. The lower level of the brain is known as rhombencephalon. This is the rhombencephalon. Mesencephalon here is known as the forebrain. It is known as the forebrain. Mesencephalon here is known as the midbrain. The rhombencephalon is known as the hindbrain. Alright? Now the component of the prosencephalon here, the components at the stage of the level are 4 in numbers. We have it here. We have it here as olfactory lobe. This is the olfactory lobe. We have it here as the cerebrum. We have it here as the thalamus, and we have the hypothalamus. Okay. Mesencephalon here we have just one structure known as the optic lobe. The optic lobe most times is represented as the midbrain. Then here at the rhombencephalon we have 3 structures. Number 1 is the pons. Okay. Secondly, we have the cerebellum. Thirdly, here we have medulla oblongata because of the shape and the position. Right? So we have the prosencephalon that comprises of the olfactory lobe, the cerebrum, the thalamus, and the hypothalamus. Then here we have the mesencephalon that comprises of only the optic lobe. Lastly, here we have rhombencephalon that comprises of the pons, which is also known as the pons varolai. We have also the cerebellum and medulla oblongata. Okay, so now we are going to look at the functions of these structures. The structures of the olfactory lobe and the functions. We're going to look at the functions and the structures of the olfactory lobe. Olfactory lobe here. This is found at the uppermost part of the brain, okay? And the function of olfactory lobe here is concerned with olfaction, which means that olfactory lobe here is sensitive to smell, or you can say odor. Olfactory lobe interprets the sensation of smell or odor. The next we are going to look at here, this is the most dominant part of the brain, and that is the cerebrum. Because it is the most dominant part of the brain, it is the largest part of the brain, the whole of the brain is also known as the cerebrum. Alright? The cerebrum here, as you can see from the picture on the whiteboard, it is spherical in shape. And the cerebrum here is divided into two by a midline called median fissure. Alright? The median fissure here is also known as the sutural line that splits the cerebrum into the left hemisphere and right hemisphere. Okay? Now we have a band of fibers that connect fibers from the left to the right and connect fibers from the right to the left. And the crossing over of the fibers from the left to the right, okay, and from the right to the left, this is known as decussation, right? Decussation is the crossing of fibers from the left to the right and from the right to the left. But take note, the band of fibers at which these fibers here cross over to different sides, at the opposite side, this band of fiber here that connect both the left and the right hemisphere together is known as corpus callosum. Okay. Now, the most important part of every brain here is this part, which is the outermost part of the cerebrum. As you can see, the whole of this diagram here, this is the cerebrum, which is the largest part of the brain. This is the cerebrum. Alright? Then the outer part of the cerebrum here, this outer part is known as the cerebral cortex. Okay? And as you can see, we have colors, white and black. We have white and black colors here. As you can see, white and black, white and black, white and black, mixed together. Combination of white and black is called gray. Right? So the most important part of the brain is the cerebral cortex, as we say, and this is because it consists of gray matter. Okay? This most important part of the brain, which I call the cerebral cortex, is the outermost part of the cortex, right? And that comprises of the gray matter, which is the most important part that plays the key functional role of the brain, and also because of that reason, it is the key center of the brain. Okay, and this gray matter here is formed by congregation of dendrites and congregation of cell body. Okay, so now we are going to look at other functions of the cerebrum. Look at the cerebrum here. Cerebrum. The major function of the cerebrum is that it controls voluntary movements. Take those. It controls voluntary movements. You can also say it controls non-reflex action. Actions you can start or stop by yourself. Alright? Examples of this voluntary movement include clapping, jumping, jogging, chewing. You can as well call chewing, mastication. These are actions you can start or stop by yourself. They are known as voluntary actions. Okay? Or you can as well call it non-reflex actions. Alright? Then the second one here, this is the center for intelligence, behavior, memory, as a part of the limbic system. Then the center for consciousness, judgment. These are the functions of the cerebrum. Okay. The next we're going to look at here is this function found at this region. Let me write this whole thing. This is found at this region. This is the region, and this is the thalamus. This is the thalamus. The thalamus here is known as a relay center. Means that the thalamus relays impulse coming from the spinal cord to the cerebrum. That the cerebral cortex can also release impulse from the cerebral cortex down to the spinal cord. And that's why this guy is regarded at the center for relaying impulses. It is known as the relay center. It sends sensory impulse coming from the peripheral nervous system to the spinal cord, from there to the thalamus. Thalamus will pick it up from the spinal cord and send it to the cerebral cortex. After the procession, the impulse must have been converted from the sensory impulse to motor impulse. Then the thalamus will now pick the motor impulse from the cerebral cortex down to the spinal cord, from the spinal cord to the effector organ, where they exert the physiological effects in the body. Okay, so we have other functions of the thalamus. Other functions of the thalamus here include the thalamus, as you can see. The thalamus here controls awareness, that's number one. Number two, thalamus. The thalamus is sensitive to pains, touch, emotion as part of the limbic system, and is also sensitive to feelings and pressure. These are the functions of the thalamus. Here we have the pituitary gland, which is connected to this guy called the hypothalamus. The hypothalamus are involuntary. Okay. Number one is that hypothalamus here controls the water balance of the body. Secondly, hypothalamus controls the body temperature. Of the body. Hypothalamus here controls appetite. Hypothalamus controls sleeping. Hypothalamus, it controls speech. Okay, these are the functions of the hypothalamus. Now, the sixth one here Hypothalamus, as we know, unknown because of the connection for the blood that connects it with the pituitary gland. Hypothalamus here controls activities of the pituitary gland due to the connections. Okay? But I want you to always have in mind that hypothalamus is equally a gland. Alright? It's also a part of the gland. The gland here, hypothalamus as a gland here synthesizes two hormones known as antidiuretic hormones and oxytocin. These hormones are released by a nuclei located at the hypothalamus, which are the supraoptic nuclei and the paraventricular nuclei. ADH is the one that regulates the water balance, regulates the body temperature. It increases the blood pressure. Okay? So here we are through with that of the prosencephalon, the forebrain. As we discussed, we have other functions. Please follow suit. We are going to look at the midbrain, which comprises of the optic lobe. As we all know, the midbrain is the part that is concerned with vision. It is sensitive to sight. It is sensitive to vision. It interprets the information of images from in the retina of the eyes. The midbrain. This midbrain here is concerned with vision. We all know that in sense organ, the images are formed in the retina because that's where we have the photosensitive cells that are responsible for picking up the images because they respond to light that is being focused to the retina. Okay, before the optic nerve will now send it to the brain for interpretation. Okay, at a level we are not going to mention the Broca's area. Broca's area 17, 18, and 19 are concerned with visual stimuli. Alright? The midbrain here is concerned with the only function it has to vision, or we can say sight. The optic lobe is sensitive to vision or sight. The next we're going to look at now is pons. Some people pronounce this as pons varolai. What is the function of pons? The pons connect fibers from the cerebrum to the cerebellum. It connects fibers from the cerebrum after the negotiation at the level of the pons. They move to the opposite side of the cerebellum. This is the function of the pons at a level. In advanced level, pons here is known as one of the breathing center. It controls involuntary breathing. Okay, so but because of your level, these are what I think is enough for you. Okay, so the next we are going to look at now, this guy you are seeing, this is the cerebellum. This is cerebellum. Alright? The cerebellum here is connected with the ear. You know, in the ear we have two systems. We have the cochlear system for hearing and the vestibular system for proprioception. The one that is concerned with positioning, posture, and balancing. That's the vestibular system that comprises of the semicircular canal, the otricus, and the circulus of the inner ear. Okay? So here the cerebellum here, because it is connected with the ear, it communicates with the vestibular system through a nerve called the vestibular nerve, and it connects with the cerebellum for hearing through a specialized nerve called the cochlear nerve. Okay? Now the function of the cerebellum is that It is sensitive to hearing as it connects to the cochlear system through the cochlear nerve. Okay? Second function, it controls positioning, posture, and balancing. Okay? It controls positioning, posture, and balancing as it communicates with the vestibular system through a specialized nerve known as the vestibular nerve. Okay? So all these are the functions of the cerebellum. Now we are going to look at the medulla oblongata, which is the last part of the brain we are going to look at. Medulla oblongata, this is the one of the innermost parts of the brain. As we discussed before, the outer part of the brain is the cortex, the inner part of the brain is the medulla. Okay, and this outer part of the brain, because the brain is also known as the cerebrum because of its size, we have the name the cerebral cortex. Right? Cerebral cortex that comprises of the gray matter, which is made up of the dendrite and the cell body. And I told you that this is where we have the key functional centers for different functions in the brain, where information are being processed. Okay? Now, the medulla oblongata here, it is so called as the inner part of the brain. It is medulla, but the shape is oblong. Hence the name medulla oblongata. Even the spinal cord is as part of the brain is at the innermost part. Okay, the spinal cord here is also known as the spinal medulla. All right, spinal cord. This is known as the spinal medulla. As the innermost part of the brain, the shape is that of a spine. Okay, so here the medulla oblongata here, the function is that it controls reflex actions. It controls reflex actions, or you can say involuntary actions. What are these reflex actions? Reflex actions or the involuntary actions, these are actions you can't control by yourself. Actions you can't start, you can't stop it by yourself. Okay? So the medulla oblongata is the center for reflex actions. What are the examples of the reflex actions? Examples of the reflex actions: control by medulla oblongata, sneezing, coughing, blinking of the eye, heartbeat, blood pressure, digestion of food, absorption of food. Okay, all these are examples of the involuntary actions controlled by the medulla oblongata. Remember, the name is medulla because it is the innermost part of the brain. Then the other, the oblongata, is because of the shape. The shape is oblong. Hence the name medulla oblongata. Okay? We are going to stop here today. In our next video, we look at the spinal cord. We look at the structures found in the spinal cord. Okay? And we are going to relate the spinal cord with that of the brain, the relationship. Okay? So thank you and God bless you. But don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channels. Thank you.